Well, good evening, everybody at Village Bible Church. It's great to have all of you here joining us for Leadership Live this week. We've got tons of stuff to talk about. We're looking forward to communicating with you guys, so we're going to go ahead and get ourselves started. My name's Jeremy Anderson, I'm the campus pastor at Indian Creek campus. I want to start things out before introducing all the other guys on the call here and give you the phone number. You can text questions in at any time tonight. That phone number is 630-283-7600. Should be on your screen as well. So feel free to send questions in. Even if you have a question as we're working through a conversation, you want some more clarification, make sure you let us know. We want to communicate clearly and get to those things. So tonight we've got Keith Duff, our executive pastor.
Hey, Jeremy.
Hey, Keith. We got our lead pastor, Tim Badal.
Hey,
Steve
Jeremy.
Lombardo, our Plano campus pastor. David Wood, our interim campus pastor at our Aurora campus, and Nico Tacona, our campus pastor at El Camino. So it's great to have all you guys joined with us this evening. We want to kind of kick things off before we start talking about some things that are coming up, before we start talking about fall launch plans and getting into all of that. We want to just give a really quick update from our services and ministry that took place over this last week. So maybe let's try to keep this at 60 seconds tops, right, guys? So let's, Tim, how things go at Sugar Grove this past week?
Yeah, we had a great time of worship. We had even a bigger crowd than we had the week before, and just a great time of praising the name of Jesus. And we studied from the 8th Psalm, learning about how majestic our Lord is and the creation that he has given us, and really had the calling to pursue him instead of just enjoying the benefits of the Creator that has given us all that we could ever ask for, but not simply to enjoy the good that he gives, but to exalt him and worship him and give him adoration for it. So again, a great time. Great to see some new people. We had some visitors. We had 4 or 5 sets of visitors, families that came, and getting to know them was really exciting. And so just a great altogether a day, another beautiful day of worshiping the Lord.
That's great. Good to hear that. Steve, Plano campus, how'd things go this last week?
It went well. We continued to enjoy Sunday mornings and beautiful weather. We had a little sprinkle that passed by about 7:38, and so our worship team was waiting to possibly go inside, but the weather cleared and we got all of the band's gear and stuff outside and had a great turnout, and studied Psalm 34, talking about the deliverance of God for his people. And we're just encouraged to be together. I got a note from someone who said how much they appreciated being together. It just meant so much to them. And so, yeah, we just continue to be thankful for the time to get together and worship the Lord together.
Great. David, how things going in Aurora?
Yeah, we had a great morning. Every week we continue to grow in terms of numbers, which is a great encouragement to see some folks that we haven't seen in a while. Had another good crew of first-time guests, so that was a huge blessing to be able to see that. And we did obviously some worship and touched on Psalm 51. And really, that's kind of probably the best known penitent psalm, really hearing David's cry, and gave people an outline for a path to finding spiritual restoration. So a blessing. I got to hang out there till closer to 1, and had a great time connecting with some people. So it was a beautiful thing.
David, I think you had over 100 people this past Sunday, right? Which is a high for the summer services.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was great. Great to see that many folks.
It's awesome. Good to see people coming back out and participating in some of these live services too. So that's cool. Nico, how'd El Camino service go this last week?
Yes, we also had a good service. We are talking about Psalm 23. That was our passage. We also starting to talk a little bit about giving, the importance of giving. So we'll start touching on that. As a church, it's important that we also become givers, giving our time, giving our efforts, our offerings to the Lord. And so, yeah, we had a good turnout. And a family came for our neighbors from the church came I guess they heard the music and all that, and they stopped by and got to meet them. There they are, and so that was encouraging to see neighbors from the church coming to El Camino.
Yeah, that's probably a unique opportunity that the church has had recently in having outdoor services. You're kind of there for people to see passing by, and to engage in some way, shape, or form. Remember, David, you've said that you've had people from blocks away listening to the services. So, there's some benefit to that as well. So we had a good service out at Indian Creek this last Sunday as well. So had some good turnout, and missing a couple families that are moving kids into school. You feel that their absence more, when we're a smaller campus, you look forward to seeing them. But we had a great time. Steve, we were in Psalm 34 as well this week. So didn't know we'd line that up. That's great. Blessed to be preaching together on that. So had a good service. So, well, we want to talk a little bit tonight in a few moments about our fall relaunching plans. But before we do that, we've got a couple of big things coming up event-wise that we want to make sure we communicate some of the details and what's going on with that. So let's start with a marriage night that's coming up here in a couple weeks. So David, I know you're taking kind of the lead on organizing that. Can you share a little bit about what marriage night is and how people can participate?
Yeah, so marriage night is a great opportunity for you to invest in your relationship with your spouse. We are going to be doing a conference online, and you can either do that by yourself, just with your couples, as a couple at home, if you're not quite ready to be in person, or you can connect with some folks in your small group, and you can get together with some of those who are hosting that. So check in with your small group, see if some of those folks, your small group leader is going to be hosting that. And yeah, that's a great way to do it. If you would like some more information, you can go on our website, villagebible.church/marriage. And you can also text to the number that you see right there on your screen, just the word marriage, and you'll get that link to go on our website. You can register there. It's about $30, and that'll be a great time for you together. So looking forward to a number of couples across all of our campuses investing in their relationship through that.
David, is a meal included with that? I think all the groups are going to do a meal.
Yeah, so if you register and you're planning to go through one of our groups, if you do that through the link that's on our website, then you'll be able to have a meal there at whichever home. Some of the homes are getting creative and going outdoors. Some of the groups are just fine being inside in the living room. And so that's kind of the plan. So I think it'll be a great night.
Hey,
If somebody,
just a word. Sorry,
What's that,
go ahead.
Steve?
I was just going to say just a word for the Plano campus. Make sure to sign up for that. So we haven't had many. We've got a couple of hosts, and I think it's going to be really great. It is $30, but like you just said, you get food with it, and I think just it's well worth it, and it'll be encouragement to you. So I care about every other campus, but Plano people, please sign up and get to be a part of it.
David, if somebody doesn't feel comfortable being out in a group, they can do this at home themselves, or do we have a plan for that? And do they get food? If they do it at home, do they get a meal?
I'm pretty sure the answer to that is that the way to get a meal is to register and participate with a group. If you go on the Marriage Night website, you can register just as an individual. They'll send you your streaming link, but there is not food associated with that option. So the $30 would, in that case, go just towards the cost of the conference, and you can pick your food up separately. So yeah,
I'm gonna go to a group then.
there you go. Me too.
Yeah, that's the game plan. Food's always great to bring people together. So, well, that's good. So marriage night coming up September 12th. Make sure you sign up for that. You don't want to miss it. It's going to be a great evening, good chance to enjoy some fellowship with other couples, and probably a great outreach opportunity too, right? Invite some neighbors that maybe would love to hear about the Lord.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, there you go.
Do we want to
So
show the video trailer, or should we premiere that on Facebook tomorrow?
Do we have that video?
I think Phil's got it queued up.
All right, let's do
Let's
it.
show the video.
All
Let's
right.
show the
Let's do
video.
it.
Roll film.
Hey, Village Bible Church. Healthy marriages do not happen by accident. They require work and dedication. But when we're willing to put in the effort and the sacrifice, God is able to use it to make our marriages one of the greatest blessings in our lives.
On September 12th, we invite you to gather with us as we join thousands of couples across North America for Marriage Night 2020. We'll learn from Les and Leslie Parrott, Conway and Jada Edwards, Matt and Lauren Chandler, and comedian Michael Jr.
Each of our campuses will have host homes all throughout our communities where you can enjoy dinner and the event simulcast with a small group of others from our church. You can visit our website to sign up and to pay for the event and to see a growing list of host homes. And if you're not sure where you can attend or where's a good place for that, contact your small group leader, or you can call our office for more details on that.
Take the initiative to invest in your marriage. Sign up today. We can't wait for Marriage Night 2020.
I think I'm going to go now. That looks pretty good.
Most
I'll tell
people
you
are
what,
pretty
you know,
trustworthy, so.
I'll tell you, the people that they get to advertise, they almost don't real. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're really good.
Wow. That was, gosh.
Superb stuff.
Yeah. Talk
I'm
about a couple
compelled.
that's got it together. That couple looked like they had it all together.
I wish I could be like them, yeah.
You could aspire high. You
Yeah.
can do it.
Keep working hard, David, and you could be like that guy.
All right, thank you,
Wonderful
Emma.
stuff. Well, thanks, David, for sharing that, and what an opportunity to engage. So Marriage Night coming on up. Now, the other thing that we've got coming up here soon is the Missions Back to School sale. Keith, last week you almost forgot to talk about that, and that created some problems at home. Kidding,
Yeah,
but
we-
we want to make sure we talk about it before we're thrown into the end. So what's going on with Missions
Well,
Back to
I
School?
appreciate it. And Jeremy, Kate, and I just really appreciate the nights you spent with us, marital counseling this past week after that. That was really good. Things are back on track. We're together and moving forward. So thanks for that. And yeah, Missions Back to School sale. In all seriousness, that is coming up. And it's over Labor Day weekend, but there's a lot of work that goes into it before the actual sale, right? So next Sunday through Wednesday, the whole setup is taking place. The church is being converted into what will be the back to school sale, and lots of volunteer help and time and preparation to make that possible. The gym will be full of clothes. We'll have room 101 full of books, and we'll have shoes and bags. And I should clarify. Somebody asked me this the other day. It's not just kids stuff. It's adult clothing as well. So from a donation, or if you're coming to shop, it's all ages. And so, anyways, that starts on Sunday from a setup standpoint through Wednesday, and actually Thursday will be set up as well. But you can donate through Wednesday. And Thursday is the last day of getting everything ready and ready to roll. And then Friday and Saturday of next week, not this week, but next week, Labor Day weekend, will be the sale. And just if you haven't been part of it, it's a big deal. And not only does it raise a lot of money for our mission trips and for some missions projects, but it's a really great community outreach event. And in many ways, I get more excited about that and the people that come in. One, because we meet a need for people who need access to low-cost clothes for their kids. But it's also just a great way to show the love and light of Jesus Christ to people. And we get lots of great comments about just the ways that people feel cared for and appreciated and loved when they're here. And so, anyways, if you've got a knack for showing that to people and you love to show the love of Christ, then it'd be good for you to volunteer. If you text the number on the screen and just, I think it's, is it missions or is it sale? It's missions. Text missions. And you'll get information if you want to find out about volunteering for the sale, for the setup. If you have questions about donating, any of that stuff, we'll follow up with you. And then just a few other things. Next Sunday at your campus, got some props here. You've got your Missions Back to School sale yard sign. So really ask everybody to pick up at least one of those and put it in your yard. If you're a corner yard, pick up two and put it on both street sides. And if you want to set some out around the community, that's fine too. But those will be at each campus. So pick those up. Some of you picked up postcards this past Sunday. Those will be out as well. Just a great thing to carry with you. Pass out to neighbors, or if you're going to a grocery store, tack it on their bulletin board. pass them out to people you run into. So help us to promote it. And again, just a great way to help people and raise money for missions. And then if you're not volunteering for the sale, then come and shop the sale on Friday and Saturday. And it's quite an event, and it'll be different. It says everything is different this year. That's the common vernacular, right? It'll be different, but I think it'll be a lot the same and a lot of the same ministry impact. So excited about it.
That's great. Lots of work goes into this. God really uses it in some really wonderful ways. So if you are interested at all, make sure you text missions to the number on your screen and get some information. And I would love to have you come on out and help make this thing happen. So we need many hands. One question's come in before we start talking relaunch for fall. This question is geared for you, David. It's about the zoning meeting in September. The question is, what's it going to be about and how do we attend?
Yeah, so you may or may not have heard, we're looking at installing a helicopter pad right in front of our church. That I'm just kidding. So if you've been past the Aurora campus, we've got a couple yellow signs there that say public hearing coming up that you can join in via web conference. That's on September 12th at 7 p.m. And really that's just kind of one of the steps in our approval process to give people in the neighborhood a chance to give their feedback to the fact that we're looking at putting in a new parking lot and having our building extend a little bit past obviously where it is right now. So so if you go past the church, there's an email address that you can email to get some more information about that. And yeah, or you can text in if you just want us to text that back to you. You can text into your to the number on the screen. And the person who asks the question, we will send you that email address. Yeah, so we're looking forward to it. Excited to see some next steps going in at the Aurora campus. And yeah, it won't be long. We're waiting to see the doors that God's opens.
Great. So good opportunity to engage with the community as well with that. Now, we had another question come in, Keith. You were talking about the Missions Garage Sale. People are wondering, where do we drop off those donations? If we've got stuff at home, where do we bring it?
Great question. And I'm glad you reminded me because Scott had told me to remember to mention that. We drop off at the foyer. Years past, we've dropped off at the gym entrance at the Sugar Grove campus. This year, we're dropping off in the foyer at the Sugar Grove campus. So if you come this week and that main entrance door is locked, just come through the office doors and you can come through that way. But the foyer through the main entrance at the Sugar Grove campus, anytime this week from 9 to 5. And then on Sunday, you could do that as well. And then next week, through Wednesday, there'll probably be signs. I'm not sure if it'll be the foyer or the gym at that point, but this week, definitely the foyer.
Great. Thank you. Well, let's, what do you guys say we start talking about some of our fall relaunch plans? People are ready to hear about what's going on. We've been talking about our reopening plans for quite a while. And as Steve always likes to remind us, we've been reopened for quite a while now, weeks when we've been gathering and worshiping together. But our plans will continue to progress here in the weeks to come. So we've moved back now to Sunday morning services. So Tim, why don't you talk a little bit about what fall is going to look like as we continue to move forward through this plan, and then what with Sunday morning sermon series, what's coming ahead?
Yeah, so for some time we have been gearing up over a period of weeks to get back to what we considered a new normal. And new normal was indoor services and children's ministry, student ministries going inside. And it's exciting to see things that we've been talking about in April and May coming to fruition. We're just a couple of weeks out and excited about where our church is at and the excitement of seeing our people coming on back to be a part of it. We know it's not going to be for everyone, and we don't want to cast any judgment or presume things upon those. And we want to remind them that our digital services, our Village at Home, will continue and we'll be doing so for some time to come. And we're really excited about having Phil Chapman joining the campus pastor team by being our online campus pastor, and he'll be ministering to those those who will need to still remain at home for the foreseeable future. And we're excited about what God's going to do. But for those that are able and willing to join us, we've been talking, praying, and planning of what the live indoor services are going to look like. And those are going to start September 13th. And we're going to talk a little bit as a group of guys about what that looks like. But I want to talk a little bit about what goes into planning something like that. And so what everyone needs to recognize is there's no easy solutions to reopening to live indoor services. There's been a lot of debate and conversation. If you've been following church news, you know, 2 major churches in the United States have made 2 very different decisions with regards to it. Andy Stanley's church, North Point Community Church in Atlanta, Georgia, which services probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 30 to 35,000 people on a weekend. They came out and made a decision that they will not be having live indoor services all the way through into 2021. That means that they weren't going to have services throughout this fall, winter, and into spring, and that they would relook at things probably when a vaccine would be available for people, or this pandemic has seemingly come to an end. And being a leader and a large church, many churches followed that, and there were reasonings behind that. And then, of course, there's John MacArthur and Grace Community Church of California, a church in the thousands as well, who made a decision going against the mandate of the governor in California to have live indoor services without really any social distancing. And there have been pictures, and a lot of press has been made of services in the 6,000 and 7,000 people in their worship center, worshiping and praising God without masks, filled to the gills. It looks like Easter services with every view and packed seats. And that, of course, has been brought into the legal realm as the state of California has done that. And so there's a lot of different ways you can go. I think what Village would say is we would put the decision in the hands of the local elder teams and leadership at every local church. And so if you have one opinion or the other, we would say we can see both sides of it, and there's value and there's good things to see from it. There's, of course, cons for everything that is done. And so what we've tried to do in our thinking and talking as campus pastors and as elders is to come up with a plan that works for us and works within our geographical issues, works within our building issues that we have across all our campuses. Each of us have different sized buildings and capacities. And so what you're going to hear is you're going to hear some things that are synchronized to us as a church family doing the same thing. The guidelines and policies, those things will ring true across all our campuses. But you're also going to hear from our campus pastors some things that are different for each of the campuses. And so in these moments to come, we're going to hear from multiple guys talking about it. But that's how we came to the decision. I will say there's unity and consensus amongst your leadership team that we believe this will work best for us as a family, and will enable people to worship and serve God wherever they find themselves, whether needing to stay home, whether needing to adhere to a strong list of social distancing guidelines, or for those that feel more comfortable with a more hands-off or less rigid approach to the social distancing. And so that's what we'll be talking about here in the moments to come.
Cool. Thanks, Tim, for kind of sharing that bird's eye view, a little bit of the decisions that were brought to. But let's talk some practical details, right? As campus pastors, we've got 5 different campuses right now represented at Village Bible Church, and we're coming up on indoor services taking place in September. What does service times look like? Right now, we've got services taking place at 10:30 at each of the campuses. Nico, you're meeting on Sunday afternoons. You're 2:00 is when you guys are meeting. So you're different where we're at right now. So let's talk September 13th. What are we looking at for service times at our campuses? So Tim, Sugar Grove, what's the plan there?
Yeah, so Sugar Grove's services are going to be 8:30 and 10:30 in the morning. We will be meeting in the gymnasium because of the renovations that are going on in the sanctuary. Our 8:30 service will be a strict social distance mask service. We'll need people to register for that service so that we're able to adhere to the social distancing guidelines for those that are looking for a service like that. And then at 10:30, we will have a service where masks are optional and a little more hands off on the social distancing guidelines. And there are a lot of people in our churches that are looking for a pretty close to normal worship experience. And we recognize and know some of the inherent risks that come in that, but we've heard from a lot of you saying that you're willing to take on some of those risks and long for worship as you've known it and loved it in the past.
So that's kind of what you're talking about a couple minutes ago, trying to make it make an option for people wherever they're at. So first service, more strict on the social distancing, masks required. People need to register for that service. We want to know who's planning on coming. And then the second service, much more free. Steve, in Plano, what are you looking at for your Sunday morning? Are you similar? Is there anything different?
Yeah, we're going to be very similar to the Sugar Grove campus. Back before COVID hit, we were planning to be at 2 services on Easter and then stay at the 2 services anyway. And so for us, it's kind of a natural fit. We hope we can fill both services. But as Tim said, the first service will be more strict to have masks and to keep people distant. And then the 10:30 service will be no mask optional. And so we're going to be doing the switch to 2 services, but we were planning to do that anyway. So our hope and prayer is that we'll be able to do that well and to meet people at the point of their need, like Tim was saying.
Great. And David, you're planning on 2 services also. Is there any specific things you'd like to communicate about what your services will look like in comparison with other campuses, or? Maybe.
Perfect.
David, you got any plans for your? We may have just lost him.
I think he's gone.
He's gone.
I'll cover for David for a moment until he comes back. So David is planning to do 9 and 11, the times they were doing before. Oh, David, you're there now. Maybe. I don't think David can hear us.
I don't think he can.
Okay. Well, text
Go ahead,
him.
Keith.
Text him somebody. And now at the Aurora campus, both those services, they're asking starting September 13th that people would register. A little bit different scenario in Aurora than there is in Sugar Grove and Plano and even Indian Creek, because they are going to be tight on space. And so with all these things, we've talked about this over the last couple of weeks, is this is our plan. This is what we're going to start off with. And we know our plans will likely need to change along the way. And so one of the changes that could quickly happen is we may need to add a 3rd service at the Aurora campus or the Sugar Grove campus, or if more people than we can fit in the first service that want to be masked sign up, then we'll figure out a 3rd service. But Sugar Grove and Plano, Sugar Grove will not require registration in the 2nd service, and Plano won't require it in either. At least that's what we're trying to figure out. So, David, you're back.
I'm back. Sorry about that.
What did I mess up on? What did I mess up on your behalf?
I don't know. I didn't hear anything you said.
Oh,
I'm sure you did great.
Okay. 9 and 11, right? Is the service
9
time?
and 11, yep. Children's ministry in the 2nd service. So that'll be part of the registration there for the 2nd service to know about that. So, yep, that'll be great. And we're looking forward to it.
Great.
Okay.
Now, Nico, what are your plans looking like for when we hit back to September? Is there going to be anything different for El Camino? What are you looking at?
Well, it looks like we'll probably be outside for the time being. Our service is at 2:00, so it's not going to be terribly bad weather-wise. So at this time, it looks like we'll be outside. Masks are optional. Of course, most people are deciding to wear masks this time. And then we'll see. As time goes by, we'll see a date when we can go inside.
I think it was Nico that I heard say he's seen people watching Bears football games when it's snowing and below freezing, sitting outside and smiling, having a great time. So he said, "Why can't we do that as a church?" And yeah, I think that's there's some spiritual maturity there that the rest of us may be lacking, Nico. So it's good.
There we go. Indian Creek, I'll speak to that since I'm out there. In September, we are planning on going back to our normal 10 o'clock service. We've been at 10:30 with everybody else right now, so we'll just move that earlier half an hour on September 13th. And we've not been having much of a need to register. We can easily handle the people who are planning on coming to our campus right now, but we love to know you're coming. So you can shoot me a text or whatever if you want to let me know you're planning on being with us on Sunday mornings. But that's our game plan in September, is just to move our service back to the normal 10 o'clock time. And so, David, you had mentioned children's ministry. That was one of the things we are anticipating there's going to be lots of questions about. So across our campuses, we'll start with you, David, since you had brought that up already. What are you looking at in terms of plans for kids during those services?
Yeah, so the first service, I don't think anything. And so we won't plan to have that. 9 o'clock, we will have the masks required service. People are able to come in, do the worship service, probably close to about an hour, and then head out. And we'll have some space outside. The tent will still be out there. We'll still have the benches for people to kind of go out and have some connection time outside, rather than having any connection time inside at that point. And then when we get to 11 o'clock, people will come up at the front door. We'll kind of have a check-in spot for everyone. You can kind of head in side. Kids, if they're in the nursery, they can go downstairs right away to our lower level. And then the rest of the kids have an opportunity to spend some time singing with their families. So we'll do kind of the first 3 songs singing. And then during that third song, we'll take a staggered approach. So by last names, we'll give, the first third of the alphabet, last names that can head downstairs, get their kids dropped off. And we'll have a preschool and kindergarten class, a first through second, I believe, and then third through fifth being the oldest class. And so each of those right now, the plan is, the capacity that we have is to have 8 kids per class, 8 students per class. And so it's on a first come, first serve basis. So we'll need people to register for that. If it becomes apparent that we need to add additional classes beyond that, we can do that. But that's kind of the plan for that. So we're excited about it. We've got some teachers who are excited about it. And I think it's going to be a great time for our students to connect and hear God's word and grow.
Great. Nico, what do you guys plan on doing at El Camino for kids?
I'm sorry.
What are your plans in September for the El Camino campus as far as children's ministry goes?
So yes, in September, same. The kids also will be outside. And so far, Wednesday nights, we're meeting outside, and we have a good group of people that are coming, and we'll continue to do that during September. So yeah, that's what we're doing.
Do you plan on having a children's ministry at all during your Sunday afternoon services?
Yes. So we'll have our kids ministry. Michaela is helping us with that, and other people as well. And then also on Wednesday evenings, we'll have at 6:30 our kids program.
Great. Is there anything that people from El Camino should know? Anything out of the ordinary that's different from maybe what last year would look like for children's ministry this year?
Well, at this time it's going to be outside, so just keep in mind about depending on how hot it is, sunscreen for the little ones, and of course we'll try to keep a place where it's nice and cool, and also just maybe we might have some parents volunteer to help out watching the kids doing it outside. But yeah, other than that, I think that's what the majority would like to see, to have the kids back on Sunday.
One other thing, you were talking about the Wednesday night children's ministry. That's actually something that Aurora campus children have the opportunity to jump in with starting, I believe, this next week. We've got Hannah Rincon and Michaela and Hannibal are all invested in and going to have a time where kids from both Aurora campus and El Camino can come together and have some Bible lessons and opportunities to play some games and learn some songs in English, learn some songs in Spanish. And we're looking for time in the future that they'll be able to share some of that with each of our individual campuses. So my kids are excited about jumping into that. It's going to be a great time for us to work together and eventually, hopefully, start reaching out to the community and inviting kids from our neighborhood as well. So we're excited about some of those things.
Great. Steve, what's children's ministry looking like at Plano campus this year?
We're going to be doing the second service, full children's ministry, that we're looking forward to that. And the first service, we're going to kind of see how it goes. So we're going to probably plan to have something, depending on kind of the numbers, for children's church training during the whole service. So both of those services will have our kids going to their classes before the service, and they'll be there the whole time. And then the sanctuary will have the other ones worshiping. Now, having said all that, it's totally up to the parents. Your kids can stay with you during the service, of course. That's welcome too.
Right. And Sugar Grove, Tim, Monica's been hard at work.
Yeah, so we had to cancel all children's ministries because we weren't able to find any volunteers. So I don't know what Monica's been doing, but she could not corral people to be a part of it. So pray for Monica. I know she would love to see people sign up. No, I'm just kidding, Monica. Monica wanted to make it known that we're doing children's worship in both services. Can you believe it? Monica does a phenomenal job. She has more than 90 volunteers already signed up, ready to go for each of our services. We're really excited about it. So in our 8:30 service, we will have children's ministry throughout the entirety of the service. And that will be a mask required for both the teachers and the students that are in those classes. And then at our 10:30 service, we have a mask optional opportunity for our students. Again, will happen all throughout the 10:30 service. We're asking our teachers and any volunteers to wear a face shield or a mask as they interact with the kids. But for the kids, those face masks or shields are optional. And so we're looking forward to trying our best to serve all of our kids wherever they may be, whatever their needs are, and really excited about it. Kudos to Monica and all our volunteers. Huge work that she did in making that a reality, and I am so very thankful and proud of the work of not only her, but all of our volunteers. We're looking forward to a great fall kickoff.
Now, speaking of kicking off, in September, we're going to be starting a new sermon series. I'm really excited about it. We've been talking about it as campus pastors. What can we share with our church about what we're looking forward to for this year? Tim, you want to talk about our sermon series a little bit?
Yeah, sorry about that. I thought that you were going somewhere else with it. Yeah, so we're kicking off a new series out of the book of Hebrews, greatest of all time. There's a lot of talk in sports as who's the greatest quarterback, who's the greatest basketball player, baseball player, and debates go on and on about the names that might fit that. We can do that with statesmen. We can do that with great inventors and politicians and all of that. But what we learn in the book of Hebrews is that Jesus, once and for all, is the greatest of all time. He's greater than all of the patriarchs. He's greater than the angels. He's greater than anything and anyone who has come before him or came after him. And we are going to learn again and again why Jesus is our all in all, why that truth should lead us to endure and persevere when times are bad and difficult, and why we should give him the glory when we find ourselves in times of great triumph and great good. And so we're looking forward to it. Our campus pastors are putting together, I think, an awesome study guide that will help lead and will create dialogue and discussion in each of our small groups. And so we are looking forward September 13th to kick off the book of Hebrews, learning that Jesus is the greatest of all time.
That's great. I'm pumped about it. I love the book of Hebrews. It's going to be a good study for the church going forward this year. So looking forward to that. So if you have questions at all, you're tuning in and you're wondering anything about what we've communicated so far about our Sunday morning services, you can text those questions into 630-283-7600, and we will do our very best to answer those. But we've got some more fall relaunch plans to talk about. And the next thing maybe we should talk about is Awana. We've been talking about kids ministry on Sundays, and I know Awana is a huge children's ministry. And so what are our plans at our different campuses for Awana this year? Is it happening? Is it not happening? Is it different? What are we looking at? So I don't know who wants to jump in on that one first.
Sure, I can. We are decided to take the year off from Awana at the Plano campus, and a number of different reasons for that. But we felt that at this point, and with kind of the state of all things, that it would be good to take the year and plan and look forward to next year for Awana. So that's the Plano campus. I know Sugar Grove campus, they're doing the same thing. Don't want to speak for you, Tim, but I guess they did that as well, and looking forward to the next year and getting rolling. So
yeah, one of the things that we're talking about, I know that's a disappointment to individuals that have come to love Awana, love to serve in Awana across our campuses. One of the things that we're talking about is in the days to come to find some new and different ways to interact, especially with our kids and our students and our adults. So a great example of kind of changing things up is what David talked about, the marriage night, where that was something that we said, come to the church building and let's do it all together. And we have found a new way, I think in some ways, maybe even a better way of doing things moving forward. And so we're going to find ways to continue to interact with our children and our students in the days to come, and looking forward to how God is going to use those efforts to impact many lives.
Right. David, do you guys do Awana at Aurora, or has that not been something on your schedule? What are you doing?
Yeah. This last year we used the Awana material during one of our morning services, and we're doing the same thing. We'll be using Gospel Project, a great curriculum that I think we're using across all of our campuses, just about. And I think that that material is a little bit better suited to be used, be able to be sent home and be given as opportunities to equip parents to walk through with their kids, whether they're there on Sunday or not. So that's kind of the approach that we're taking. And so that's where we're at.
So no Awana for this school year is what we're hearing across the campuses that have done it. Definitely a sad thing, but looking for more opportunities to engage with kids, minister to kids and families in the months to come. So stay tuned to that. Be on the lookout for those things that come out from your children's ministry directors at your campuses for what new opportunities may be coming up. So,
hey, Jeremy, I'm going to turn the tables and I'm going to say, what are you guys planning for student ministries? Because we haven't talked about our students.
That's a good question. It's a good question. So I'll speak to Sugar Grove, and I'll let other guys chime in for their campuses as well. So at Sugar Grove, our game plan right now is that we will relaunch on September 9th with our student small groups. Now it's going to look a little bit different from what we normally do. So our middle school groups are still planning on meeting at the church, and they're going to meet from 7 to 8:30. So we're shortening our night up just by half an hour. Enables us to deal with some of the social distancing that comes with that. And our high school groups, meanwhile, will be meeting at homes in the Sugar Grove area. So they're all going to be close by. It's going to be a great time, though. We're hoping to re-engage a lot of students. Our leaders are excited. We've got a leader kind of training coming up this Saturday. So we're going to talk through the year with all of our volunteers. So we're super appreciative of them and their willingness to come back and get the ball rolling again for this new school year. So that's kind of our game plan. We're going to be doing the sermon-based small group studies like we've done in the past. We write studies that are specific for students that go along with our Sunday morning series. So we'll be discussing those in their small group times on Wednesdays and working through the book of Hebrews right along with mom and dad and the rest of the church. So it's an overview kind of our plan. September 9th, we're getting back after it. So we're looking forward to it. Steve, David, you guys have anything about student ministry at your campuses you'd like to share?
Yeah, we have been going, we have never stopped with our student ministries. And so I'm not saying that's a judgment on you, Jeremy. I'm just telling you the facts. We just didn't stop. We did Zoom for a little while, and then we got back in person. And you know what's happened, and I don't know if it's just because there's been a lack of other things going on, but kids have invited their friends, and it is taken off. And so now at the Plano campus on Wednesday nights, we had upwards of 40 kids that come out and get together and study God's word, play some games, and be together. We've been so thankful to have Mitch Freestead, who's been at the Sugar Grove campus. He's been helping out. He's been doing a great job, and our kids really love to engage with him. And it's just been a great time to see the kids together. And so that's just going to continue on. We might be changing the day to Sunday night. That's kind of in the discussions right now, but I'll make sure to let all of our people know.
Great. David, you got student ministry plans?
Yeah, that's great. So glad to hear that, Steve and Jeremy, about you guys launching back up at the Aurora campus. We are hoping to start things back up in September, but we are looking at firming up some details about what exactly that's going to look like. We're planning on being there at the church, but we will have more details to follow. So,
Great.
Yeah.
Indian Creek, Keith asked me to talk about Indian Creek. I can do that since I'm in Indian Creek too. We are having a bonfire this weekend, actually. We've been starting back up, and we're going to have a kind of a back to school bash in the next couple of weeks here. So we're looking forward to getting things going, and Indian Creek will be doing the small group studies as well with the students that are coming in part of this. So we're looking forward to Josh Nielsen has been able to engage with the schools out here in the Indian Creek district, and we're hoping to be able to find some way to engage with the district and whatever capabilities they will allow us to do, given all the precautions that schools need to be taking right now. So we'll hopefully have some new engagement with our schools as well.
You're going to have s'mores at that bonfire this weekend, Jeremy?
Would it be a bonfire without s'mores?
Well, what other kind of food are you going to have? We're thinking about coming out, bringing the family.
Probably hot dogs or something.
Oh,
so
okay.
I don't know if you'll be too.
Well, we'll just do the s'mores, I guess.
Yeah, you're invited. Come on out. It'll be a great time.
Good.
We'd love to have you. So it'll be very fun. Now let's talk about small groups too. Students are doing some small groups. Steve, I'm going to pitch this question to you, kind of about small groups across our campuses. We're getting ready to start that up real soon. We've been talking about it in our services. What's going on with small groups this year?
Hey, yes, Jeremy, I just wanted to tell you, I just received notification.
Hey, you muted yourself. Hey, you muted yourself. Unmute. There you go.
Oh, somebody did that. Whoever is behind the camera there. I just wanted, before we talk small groups, I just got a text, Jeremy, from somebody at our campus who has agreed to lead the games each Wednesday night. And they were listening, they're pumped up and excited about it. He's done it before. Kids have really loved it. He's committing now for the near future to do games. So we're building our volunteer team of parents and interesting folks. It's just a dynamic thing that we have going on at Plano.
Is that Sam? Is that Sam, Steve? Is that who's volunteered to do games?
Never a name. Remember? Yes, I have a name. Yeah. I'm just kind of keeping it quiet.
Oh. Well, Sam's a good game guy.
He's a PE teacher.
Yeah, it's as good as it gets.
It is. Very thankful for that. But small groups is also starting, and that Village small groups is more than just another thing, like we say. It's one of the things. It's our main channel of discipleship for our people that call Village a church home. So I'd like to challenge my campus and all the campuses. If you've never experienced a small group, I try it out. I challenge you to do it and take a step of faith and get involved. The small groups are forming now, getting ready to launch next week. And next week is the first week that we've been meeting together now for some time. We continue to meet as a small group. Small groups met online, Zoom, during the COVID crisis. And but then now after a summer break, we're back ready to go again. And so next week, small groups will be launching with their first get together, whether it's in person or online. We have a couple of those different options available, I think, at all campuses. And they're going to be going over what the year is going to look like. And then the following week, we launch into our small group studies in the book of Hebrews, as Tim said about the sermon series. What's awesome, I think, about our small groups is we are in the text studying the text that's going to be preached on the week before. So then you hit Sunday and you are fired up and pumped up and ready to hear what the pastor is going to bring as he divides the word of truth and brings it to us. So we've really enjoyed doing it in that way, and that's scheduled. And so I just encourage you, get to sign up and be a part. You can text the word group to the number that's been given. You can also just go on our website and sign up there, and somebody will be in touch with you from your respective campus. So yeah, it's going to be a fun season. Looking forward to that. The thing that I always remember about small groups is maybe some of them take a little time to click, but if Lord willing, you're part of one that goes and works and grows together, you're going to be making friends that last a whole life, because it's not just Bible study, it's relationship building, it's encouraging one another in the Lord. So that's coming up starting next week.
Now, I got to ask the question because my internet glitched out there just for a little bit. I want to make sure, do you talk about online options versus in person, or, for people who are maybe looking for something other than meeting it live?
Yeah, that's absolutely right. I can speak specifically for my campus. We're having an online group, or possibly two, that are meeting, and that's for folks that they're really not comfortable getting back together at this point, and so we're going to do that. And then the other groups are going to be in person. Some of them have kind of moderated it a little bit, or maybe mitigate some of the closeness, and they're starting out in the nice fall weather, meeting outside at a host person's home. So they're going to do that, and then kind of work toward being together again, relatively normal. If you think about it, that's what we've done at Village, which I've really loved. We've been meeting together for a long time now. Maybe not Sunday morning, but we've kept meeting together, and it's been incrementally going back to normal, while at the same time the Word of God being preached, being challenged together, fellowship coming together during this time. As we move from Sunday nights to Sunday morning outside, and now, Lord willing, we'll be back inside. And so some of our groups are doing the same thing. I think that's correct for all the campuses, right, Tim and David and Jeremy? I don't know about you exactly for sure, but we're going to have some online, but the majority are starting to get back together.
Yep, at Aurora, we've got most of our groups are going to be meeting together. Some of them are going to be just being outside as long as they can. Some of them are going to be meeting at the church on some of the nights that we've got a room available for them to be able to be a little more social distance. And we've got at least one, possibly more online groups for people to be able to jump into. So yeah, whatever fits for you, we've got it.
So it's not too late to sign up. If people have not signed up for a group yet, they can still be doing that. So we want to encourage those who haven't been or are thinking about it, maybe take some time, pray about this, and really this is a huge opportunity to jump into that. So Tim, why don't you talk a little bit about what the studies look like? We do these small group studies. We talk about them being tied to the sermon series on Sundays, being the week before. What should people expect with these small group studies this year?
Yeah, so the studies are a twofold study. Number one, it is to get you in the Word and to get you thinking about the passage that we're going to be dealing with in that week. And a lot of people use these as devotionals, as ways to just kind of center their own spiritual thoughts for the week around a particular text. But the second element is that they're used as discussion guides for the group. And so our groups are able to look at the different questions. Our small group leaders, that is, can look at the questions and pick out a handful of questions, not able to go through all of them. I don't know of many small groups that are able to address all of the questions that are there, but to grab 5 or 6 of them and to use them as a springboard for discussion. And our hope is that people won't simply just come up with a Sunday school or church answer, but really dig into what they're thinking, what they're feeling, how the text is addressing our our own need for God and His Word and areas of growth in our lives. And so we want you to bring all that you can to the text and to bring other knowledge of the Bible into that, so that the discussions can be robust, that they can go deeper and deeper, and so that each of the people within the group can learn to apply truths that they learn from either the Word in their own study or truths that they learn in the discussion. And so our hope and prayer, as it has been in these years past, that these would be vibrant times of discussion and growth for everybody who's a part of it.
Great. Yeah, it's been fun to work through those studies. Looking forward to a solid year of small groups coming up. Text group to that number on your screen, 630-283-7600. We'd love to find a place for you to connect and engage. These groups are just a wonderful time of fellowship, study, and prayer together with God's people. So a place for growth for sure. So if you've got other questions, text those to the number on your screen as well. We'd like to hit those. We did have plans to talk about our Naperville campus update, where things are at with that, and our plans for increasing a Spanish ministry as well. But since we're starting to run a little low on time, we want to get to some people's questions that have come in. And the first one has to do with those indoor services that'll be taking place in September. So the question is, do we need to bring lawn chairs or our own chairs for indoor services? Tim, you're shaking your head no.
Yep, no, easy answer. We'll have seats all ready for you, and so you don't have to worry about that once we go indoors.
Great. And another question coming in from Mary. Keith, I'm going to have you answer this question is, how are the sponsored kids in Uganda doing throughout COVID? We've not heard a lot of an update on that. How do you know anything, or can you speak to that? You're muted, Keith.
Oh boy, here we go. Am I back? All right. So yeah, that's actually a great point of prayer. So we sponsor about 130 kids, families from Village Bible Church across all campuses. 130 kids in Uganda at several different schools, all connected with the ministry of Juna Magara Ministries, and so right now in Uganda they are in shutdown mode as well, and schools have been shut down since March, and now their schools operate on a calendar year, so January through December. And tomorrow, I believe President Museveni, the president of Uganda, will be announcing if they're going to start back up school or if it's going to be a complete loss of a year. And so they've been down and likely will continue to be down through December. One of the cool things, though, is as kids who are sponsored, they're continuing to have their needs met, but in a different way. They're either at a home with a relative, if they're an orphan, maybe with a grandparent or with a guardian. Maybe they have a parent that's still living that they're home with. And but the problem is a lot of those parents or guardians or family members are out of work, and there's not a unemployment program in Uganda. So those who are out of work with everything going on right now, it is a real challenge. That's a point of prayer. But the sponsor funds are going actually to help meet the needs of those families from a physical, food, and tangible ways. So kids are still being taken care of. School packets are being delivered to them by their social workers and interacting with their teachers. Different, but just like our teachers in schools are trying to figure out how to still educate, may not be able to do it as well or in the same ways, but they're trying to find ways to stay engaged with the kids, continue to help the kids, and continue to provide for them. So those sponsorship dollars are being used in some different ways, but in many ways even more critical than before. So just continue to pray for your children if you do sponsor a child, and continue to write letters. And actually, I believe if you haven't done it, usually those letters go back and forth with our mission teams, and other mission teams are going back and forth, because mailing a box of letters is really expensive, but a box is being mailed the first week of September. So if you haven't written to your child, maybe you've never written to your child, this is a really good time to do it, because they're hearing about all the craziness of COVID in the U.S. And while it's there, they're really worried about us and their sponsor here And so they would love to hear from you and know that you're doing okay and still here and praying for them and connecting with them. So if you don't know how to write your child, just text in the word Uganda to the number on your screen, and make sure we get you information, and you can get a letter out this week so it can get to them. It'll get to them middle of September. So yeah, hopefully that answers the questions. If not, text in that Uganda Tech keyword and with whatever other questions you have, and we'll try to follow up for you.
Keith, I think you did a pretty thorough job. So well done.
All
Lots of
right. Thanks,
information.
Jeremy.
Absolutely. So let's one
Encouraging,
thing we
Jeremy. I
didn't
like
talk
how
about
you're very
tonight.
encouraged.
One thing we didn't talk about this evening is the annual meeting. That's coming up real quick. That's next Sunday. Tim, do you want to talk a little bit about what the annual meeting is going to be, how people can connect with that, get signed up, what they need to do?
Yeah, so I don't know if we've got a slide for that. We do have a slide for that. So we have an annual meeting that's coming up this Sunday for all of our campuses at 7 o'clock. It's going to be a little different. We're going to do the annual meeting together, whereas most of our annual meetings are done at each of our individual campuses. But we feel like just for the sake of getting information out there and communicating clearly and consistently, we want to make sure we do that. There will be an opportunity for some breakout sessions for questions and answers with your campus pastor. And so we're looking forward to talking about where we're at as a church financially, where things are at with construction and all-in projects at our different campuses, as well as reopening information as we continue to unveil that information, as well as we're going to be affirming some new elders across a handful of our campuses and want to communicate the process that's been going for them. And so the annual meeting is a great time to find out what's going on with the church, an opportunity for you to ask questions. And so join us 7 o'clock. It'll be online. If you want to sign up, text meeting to 630-283-7600, and we will be able to give you a place to join us and to be able to engage with us in that discussion. Looking forward to it this Sunday, 7 o'clock.
Hey, Tim, and just to make sure people understand, you said text in to sign up. You do have to sign up. This annual meeting will not be broadcast on the Village at Home page. It'll be a Ring Central call, and so that we'll break out the second half into campus-specific discussions and give you a chance to have some more live interactions. So don't tune in to this webpage at 7 o'clock on Sunday because you won't see much. Make sure you text and sign up so you get the link and you're ready to go.
Yep. So in case you missed that, text meeting to the number on your screen, or you can go to the event page on the church website and sign up there as well. But make sure you do that so we can get you the link so you can join that call Sunday evening. So one other question that we've had come through is from our friend Roger, and Roger has asked and said really that the online services have been outstanding. So a kudos and a compliment to all those who participated in making those things happen, whether you've been part of the speaking roles, leading worship, behind the scenes, whatever that's been. Great job on that. And he says that the guys preaching have been good. Where do you get such great young guys? So I don't know what to say about that.
Well, I think it's probably good, Jeremy, because you're probably one of those young guys. David Wood's one of those young guys. And actually, I heard Roger commenting, and so I know what he's referring to. He is referring to you guys. And also, Tim Gherkin, or Nick Gherkin, preached a couple weeks ago, and he was real complimentary to him. So where do we get those guys? I don't know. Where did you guys come from? I think God has continued to bring the right people at the right time. And so it is pretty cool. And it has been an interesting and great benefit to being online is people at a campus usually hear from one or two people focused at that campus. And during this time, people have heard from all the people who've been preaching across the campuses. And we'll talk about maybe next week, but the church in Naperville that we're working with to adopt, they've had a chance to really get to see all campuses from a Sunday morning standpoint. So there's been some pretty neat things that have come out of this COVID season, but good job, Jeremy, David, and Nick, and all you guys.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that. Hey, born and raised right here at Village. So.
There you go.
I would just add in there, it's great to be part of a great team. Lots of quality teachers and and pastors to be part of. So I don't want to leave Tim and Steve and Nico and any of these other guys, Cisco, Keith, you too. Great to be part of your guys' team. So
Cool, man. Good stuff.
well, as of right now, we have covered our questions and we're at time. So we're going to go ahead and close in prayer in a minute. And Steve, I can't think of any person better than you to close us in prayer tonight. So would you be willing to do that for us? You're muted just before you started praying. Make sure to mute yourself.
Absolutely, Jeremy. I would be more than privileged and honored to pray for all of us. I pray for you a lot, Jeremy, so.
Appreciate that, Steve.
Thank you, Lord, for tonight, and thank you for this opportunity to come together. And God, we do thank you for your church. And we are a bunch of imperfect sinners, but we thank you for your forgiveness. We thank you for your love and transformative power that you would use us actually for your kingdom work. So we love your kingdom work, and strengthen us, each one, the ones watching, the ones listening, Lord, tonight to do your will and your work. So God, we give you glory in Jesus' name. Amen.
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 All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us tonight. And with that, Jeremy, anything else?
I think that's it. Tune in next week. We'll talk about Naperville and our Spanish ministry. So
Sounds
got
good.
more to talk about.
All right. And if you haven't signed up to volunteer for the Missions Garage Sale, text missions right now. Kate needs 50 people. If I get 50, it'll be a good week of marriage. So you can help me out with that. And